and this is the second, well, it's actually the third part of your mythical creature. Here is my rabbit rhino bee. So I've got rabbit, rhino, and bee. So it's 3 animals. You can do up to 5. And this is mine. So this is my painting of my animal. And now what I'm going to be doing is sculpting it. So this is not a how-to video as much as it is, here's a bunch of stuff, and you can use any of this stuff to figure out how to do it, because I don't know exactly what you have at home. What I've done is a couple different things. One thing I did was I created a dough, and we put together these guys. So here's a little teeny tiny rabbit rhino bee, and here's another rabbit rhino bee. It's a dough that I mixed up. I'm going to include the recipe for you. There's a lot of different kinds of doughs you can make, and if this is what you want to do, that's just fine. This is a relief sculpture, which means it's not 3D. It's not going to stand up. This guy is considered more of a standing up 3D sculpture, even though he's kind of squished. I don't know, can you see how it's a rabbit? So here's the rabbit ears, there's the rhino horn, here's some little bee wings and a bee stinger on his tail. So you can do a relief sculpture, which would be kind of like something that you hung on a wall, but it's not flat. It's not 2D, it's still 3D. So this is dough with twisty tie wings, a cardboard horn for the rhino, and a button eye, and then I used a pencil to kind of poke in the stuff there. And I'll be painting this guy. And what I was thinking most of you might want to do is some kind of a 3D sculpture. So I have this rabbit rhino bee that I've been putting together, and I wanted to show you a couple techniques for how to create something out of cardboard and paper. And then I'm going to show you how to make paper mache paste out of cornstarch. It's really easy. So here is my pile of materials that I have. I'm sure you recognize these. It's a toilet paper tube. Here's a paper towel tube. These can be really handy. If you want to tape, you could tape a bunch of these together to make a sculpture. I also have some newspaper. This works really well to make a sculpture. You can just crumple the newspaper up and shape it. This is what I used for the head of my rabbit. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Remember to wash your hands, people. Wash your hands. So, oh, and I have masking tape too. So I would masking tape my paper like this. And then you can tape it right onto a tube. Anytime you tape something onto a tube, you're going to want to do this. This is an attaching way of doing it. You take your tape and you always go across the connection like this. So I go from one side to the other. You don't ever take tape. I love masking tape, by the way. This is not going to hold. If I go like that, it's not going to hold. I always want to go this way. And you're going to want to go around at least 4 times to hold something on. So I'm making another little rabbit rhino bee. Let's pretend. Let's make this one sitting up. So here's my little rabbit on his little bee body. And then maybe I would make a couple legs. I'm going to show you how I made my body there. This is a potato chip box. This kind of cardboard is really handy because you can cut it really easily. Let's see, where's the opening side? Here it is. If you find the edge where it was connected and open it up, you've got this great, nice, blank sheet of cardboard here. So what I did for my rabbit body was I cut a section out like this, and I rolled it, and then I stapled it. Actually, it wasn't quite this big, so I'm going to cut this piece off too. And I'll cut this off. So you can roll a section, and I have a stapler here, which is really going to be helpful, but you can also use just tape. The stapler goes in. And I'm basically making another tube. I already have a million tubes. But there, that's one way of doing that. And then what I did to make the end of my bunny here is I cut slits into the tube like that so that I could push them in. And that rounded it off. So that's one way of doing this. And you can make shapes this way and attach them. So what I'm really looking for is how are you finding materials? What materials do you have? What are you going to use? And how are you going to make it work? So this is a suggestion of a number of different ways. Okay, so I'm making like 3 different things here now. This is like a giraffe neck. Oh, now you know what? I know there's a few people who are talking about giraffes too. I'm going to actually take and do the back end of this too. So now I've got a good body shape. La la la, I don't know where all my assistants went. And this is the kind of thing you may need to ask a parent to help with. Unless you're one of the kids that actually cooks a lot. Still, if you've got a stove or something going, you're going to want to have an adult. So there's a nice little body there. So let's say I wanted to make a giraffe thing. How am I going to get that to stick on there? It's not just going to go, and if I tape it, it's still going to wobble. Here's what you do. You're going to cut slits in that too, so that you can open it up a little bit. And you're going to squish it on here. And you might even do something like this. Because that's curved, I'm going to cut the front and the back ones of these a little bit shorter so that I can kind of squish it on. So you see how it's going around now? I think I want one more slit here. Do you like my nice mess on the table there? Don't you wish you were in the art room so you could make a big mess there? Me too. Okay, so here's another spot where it would be helpful to have an assistant. I don't know where my assistant went. So I'm going to tape here. And then I'm going to tape here. And there's my body with the giraffe head on it. Isn't that awesome? Sure, here's my assistant. Can you cut me out some giraffe ears, please? So that's that piece. So there, now that's a lot sturdier. There's something that I like to call like the shake test. If you can shake something and it stays on, hey, you're golden. So let's see, how do I want to do legs for my giraffe? I made the legs for my rabbit rhino bee by taking, thank you. Ooh, that's a good ear. How can you cut 2 ears that are the same? Can you put it under the thing so they can see? Yep, if you put it, just hold it right in there. If you put one on top of the other one and then cut around them, or you can fold it. Yep, or you can trace. Good idea. Because I did that with my rabbit rhino bee ears. And I also scored these. I took my scissors and did a line through them so I could bend it. And, oh, the legs, that's what I was talking about. These are toilet paper tubes that I cut in half. For this giraffe, I might want him to look even skinnier. So I'm going to just take one toilet paper tube and cut it in half, and then cut it in half again, because I like that slight curve that they have. Here's a scissors, baby. So then I could just tape these little leggies on here. Schmurp. And with legs, you want one piece of tape on the outside, and you actually would like one on the inside too. So I'm putting a piece of tape in here. Dum, dum, dum. Let's see, then I have a short little video about how to make cornstarch paper mache paste, which is what this is. Ooh, it is nice and sticky. Ooh, and now I'm all sticky. Thanks, Max. So I'm ripping off a piece of my brown paper. I will talk about this more in a minute, but since I got my hands goopy, I'm going to start putting some stuff on. So once you have your creature together, then you're going to paper mache it. Or coat it with something. And this is a very easy, very cheap way to make paper mache paste. So can you come back, Max? Because now my hands are goopy and I can't turn off my computer. So I'm going to finish putting this guy together and I'll have these two. And I just need you to hit the mouse on. We're almost done paper macheing. Max was just commenting on how you can use paper mache for Halloween costumes because when it dries, it makes your skin really wrinkly.
It looks like it's coming off.
It looks like your skin's coming off. So that's always another good reason to wash your hands. I've got my Rhino Rabbit Bee upside down, and I'm doing his little tummy tum up. So anywhere that you have things attached, like here's my staples on his belly, I need to get those paper mache'd, and I kind of want to get a little bit under his ears there too. I'll pick him up in just a second so I can show you that. So like here's, you can see in underneath his ears there. So if you prop him against stuff like this, then you can get to the underside. So don't forget the underside. You want to get underneath stuff. All right, then this is going to need to dry before I can paint these guys. But like I said, there are other ways you can make stuff to people. You don't have to paper mache. I really love doing this. I think this is super fun. But since I'm not there to help you out, then you're going to have to come up with another thing. So if you are able to sew, I'm going to attach a PDF of a little really simple animal pattern that you can very easily alter. I don't think I'm going to have time to sew one up. But if you have some felt at home and you really do love sewing, you could certainly use my little simple animal pattern to create a stuffy of your mythical creature.
Can you do that for the Dunny Buck? And yes, I don't mean Rhino Rabbity.
I don't know what you mean. Oh, what you want me to...
Dunny Buck.
You want a stuffed animal?
Yes. It was cute.
Oh, right, the Dunny Buck.
I could go
He's talking
get
about
it right
summer
now.
camp. The Dunny Buck.
I could go get my two creatures. I know where to go.
Right, your paper mache creatures from
I'll
last
be
year.
back in a
So
second.
and Max was also pointing out that I forgot to put bees' wings on my Rhino Ranabee, but I actually was leaving them off because I was going to add them with pipe cleaners. So, and you can see this side of my creature's tail is not got anything on it, so I still want to get that on there. Okay. So like with my giraffe, puppy, manatee guy, when they're wet, they're a little wobbly. See how wobbly this leg is? I don't want to be standing him on his legs or they're going to collapse. So I want to lay him down and make sure that things are doing what I want them to do, and then I got to leave him dry. So
Lay them on paper.
almost done with this. I'm sorry, say that again.
Don't lay them on paper because they'll stick to the paper.
My husband is saying don't lay them on paper because they'll stick to the paper, but I want you laying them on something. So if you have a plastic bag to lay them on, I don't think it's too big of a deal to lay them on paper because, yeah, it will stick, but there's a lot of other things that I'm more worried about. I don't want you wrecking your parents' tables or anything. You keep an eye on them. Hopefully they dry in a day or so. If you have a heat source that you can put them by, we have a lovely gas fireplace, which I may go stick these in front of on a drying rack and see if that dries them faster. And then we'll make a little decorating video because that's kind of some of the fun stuff too. I do really like this part though. This is fun. All right.